fact check a lot of outlandish claims that people say are true but are actually total bullshit. But every now and then, something that sounds like outlandish bullshit is actually true. So let's talk about Project 2025, what it is, what it isn't, and what we know about it. Project 2025 is an almost 900-page document from the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank that has employed a ton of former US President Donald Trump's officials. It is, to quote the Washington Post, a blueprint for a second Trump administration. Now, Trump has distanced himself from the document, claiming neither he nor his campaign had anything to do with it. But according to Politico, its authors include Trump's former cabinet secretaries, top White House officials, and senior aides. That said, there have been a lot of false claims circulating about what's in the document, so here's what's actually in it. The huge plan calls for some pretty heavy-duty changes that would touch on basically every part of Americans' lives. Here are some highlights. It wants to eliminate the entire Department of Education, cutting programs that help low-income kids and calling for a, quote, limited federal education policy. But don't worry, it also really wants to intervene when it comes to students having their gender identity respected. The document also calls to politicize the nonpartisan civil service and put the Department of Justice under presidential control. That includes the FBI, which means Trump could investigate his opponents. Cool. It also wants to halt the sales of abortion pills, says the border should be sealed, calls for mass deportations of millions of people, basically guts climate change protections, and wants trans folks banned from the military, might reinstate the draft, and ban something that rhymes with corn. Woof. Now, once again, this isn't official policy and Trump says he knows nothing about it. But as I already mentioned, and as has been widely reported, his extensive ties to the authors have caused some to raise their eyebrows at that. Especially when you consider that at a dinner in April 2022, he called the Heritage Foundation a, quote, great group that is going to, quote, lay the groundwork and detail the plans for exactly what our movement will do. So that's the full context and a fact check of what's actually in Project 2025, despite tons of claims floating around about it. What do you think of all this?